This is day 3 of my 30 days of live streaming on this channel. This channel is Manifest Everything Always, and it's about manifesting. This channel is about manifestation. I talk about manifestation, all aspects of it. But I pretty much lean towards the law of assumption. Pretty much. But I'm also interested in robotic affirming, which kind of almost steers away from law of assumption, because you do not need to feel anything in order to affirm and actually see results. Whereas with the law of assumption, even though it's about whatever you assume to be true is true, and assuming that you already have it, meaning you do have it, even though it's not in your 3D reality, the premise of it actually is that feeling is a secret, so you have to feel and get into an emotional state in order to manifest that into 3D reality. Whereas I believe in robotic affirmations. I'm doing 30 days of robotic affirmations. That's what this challenge is actually, is 30 days of robotic affirmations, affirming 3 times a day for at least 10 minutes. Anyway, today I'm talking about complaining and manifestation. It sounds very strange, but this type of complaining is intentional, exaggerated complaining to bypass resistance. So if you're someone who is a complainer, often when you keep complaining, you're giving that particular issue and problem oxygen. You're giving it too much focus. You're focusing too much on it, and it's growing. Whereas, so if you are a complainer, if you're the kind of person who complains a lot, what can you do? What can you do to manifest? You can use that complaining energy to manifest whatever it is you want. And I'm going to talk to you about what that is in this stream, because it's gonna switch on a light bulb in your head if you're someone who complains a lot. It really is going to switch on a light bulb in your head. You're gonna have this moment of perceptive clarity. It's going to be like an epiphany for you when you listen to what I have to say about this. Aside from that, I want to talk about neuroscience a little bit in this stream as well, but I'm going to talk about the complaining thing first, and about how you can use complaining to manifest anything you want. So if you are a complainer, then stay tuned to this. Even if you're not a complainer and you know someone who complains a lot, stay tuned to this, because complaining can actually help you to manifest whatever you want. And you can do the same thing with overthinking. It's pretty much the same concept. So I'm going to talk about it. If you complain a lot, you can use this type of affirmation to bypass resistance and manifest whatever you want. So, for example, you can use this affirmation for manifesting money. You could be like, when someone, I'm going to give you the negative way, the negative complaint. Oh, I've got no money in my account. I mean, God forbid, I don't want to say that about myself, but, I've got no money in my account. I'm struggling. You can say this instead. Oh, my goodness, there's so much money coming into my account. Why is there so much money coming into my account? It's like every single time I'm just like scrolling on my phone and trying to just chill and be on TikTok, I've got notifications constantly coming through onto my phone of money notifications, money deposits coming into my account. It's really annoying. That sounds like a complaint, but it's actually a positive one. You see, so if you're someone who you have that kind of energy where you complain all the time, you're assuming abundance as a given and treating it as an inconvenience. So this is why it works so well. The nervous system believes that what feels normal and not what feels hopeful. So when you joke, complain about good things, you're signaling this outcome is so expected that I can be casual about it. Because often we put our manifestations, or we put our the things that we desire on a pedestal. We put it on such a high horse, such a pedestal, that we almost feel like it's beneath us and we are beneath it, and we don't normalize it. So when you don't normalize something, your nervous system gets out of whack because you feel like this thing is not normal for me and it's uncomfortable for me. So making a lot of money might feel uncomfortable to you. Even though you might want it, it might feel uncomfortable for you because you're not used to it. And so your nervous system is going to feel like something is wrong. And so you end up repelling the money. So instead of complaining all the time that you don't have money, even if you don't have money, this is not about saying this because you actually do have the money. In your 3D reality, you might not have the money at all, and you might want to spend your time complaining about not having money. But instead, flip it and flip that affirmation, flip those words, flip those thoughts, and instead of saying, "Oh, I've got no money, I'm struggling," you can say, "Oh my goodness, there's so much money coming into my account. Why is there so much money coming into my account all the time?" I mean, let me explain this again. When you joke or complain about good things, you're signaling that this outcome is so expected that you can be so casual about it. You're not shocked about it, really, because you expect it and it's normal for you. That's the same energetic position as wealth being normal, success being unsurprising, and opportunities being routine. So this is exactly the identity state manifestation responds to. You're not trying to get money, you're reacting to money as if it's already happening. And what this does is it collapses the gap. I'm going to give you an example of some flipped complaints that you can use. These should feel light, almost sarcastic, and not desperate. The universe, or whatever entity you want to use, does not respond to desperation. So even if you really are desperate for something, you need to really flip that. And this is where nervous system regulation can help you. That's deep breathing, deep breathing exercises, cold showers, all those kind of things can actually help you when it comes to your manifestation manifesting, because you need to regulate your nervous system to help you along the way when it comes to manifesting. But to be quite honest with you, I find that robotic affirming is really powerful for regulating your nervous system. I don't know what other people feel like, but I feel like when I keep saying something over and over and over again, it's almost hypnotic and it calms me down. For example, when I'm having an anxiety attack, I don't have those anymore. I used to have them all the time. I used to say, "I am calm, I am safe, I am calm, I am safe," robotically. I didn't believe it because I was feeling like I was going to die at that particular time. And I used to go to the hospital every day with a complaint that I was dying because I used to have severe anxiety attacks. The anxiety attacks stopped when I started saying, "I am calm, I am safe, I am calm, I am safe." And it regulated my nervous system, and I don't have these anymore. And if I do start feeling anxious, I straight away say, "I am calm, I am safe," robotically, and it goes away completely. Anyway, I sort of went off on a tangent there. So these are some examples of some flipped complaints that you can use to help you on your manifesting whatever you want. You can say, "Wow, another client, I really need to stop being so magnetic. It's honestly exhausting how supported I am. Why does everything I touch keep working out? I don't even have space in my calendar for all this success. This abundance is getting a bit out of hand." Notice the tone, the amused, not pleading tone that's being used for this. The psychology behind it is this: the mind resists direct affirmations when they feel too far from reality. This isn't always the case, to be honest with you. I'm telling you, I'm a massive advocate of robotic affirming. But if you've been struggling, and you're finding that your mind resists direct affirmations when they feel too far from your reality. But generally, as humans, we don't resist humor. We don't resist irony. We don't resist exaggeration. We kind of laugh it off and say, yeah, okay, cool. And when you get into that kind of mood, you feel relaxed and you feel calm, or calmer. Playful complaining, what it does is it lowers mental defenses, it bypasses self-doubt, it feels safe and familiar, and it sneaks in a new self-concept. So what you're doing is you're installing the identity of someone who expects good things. And this is why it works so well for creators. Creators already live in imagination. This method uses imagination without pressure. So instead of I am successful, which can feel heavy for some people, not for everyone. This is the reason why I always say that when it comes to manifestation, you need to just find your own path and your own lane. Yes, you can take on other people's ideas and you can take on advice of what other people are doing, but you have to find your own rhythm. And you know this, if you believe that manifestation is hard, it's going to be hard. If you believe that it's supposed to take months and weeks for your manifestation to appear or to materialize, then that's what's going to happen. If you believe that robotic affirming doesn't work, it won't work. That's why I always say that everything works. It's all about your belief system. And when you believe that this thing is already yours, all you're doing when it comes to affirming or saying any of these things is reminding yourself that it is yours. You've already claimed it. You might not see it in your reality yet, but you've already claimed it. You might not see it in your 3D reality yet, but you've already claimed it. So you can say, instead of saying I'm successful, you can say, wow, I really need a break from all this momentum. It's the same assumption, but there's less resistance. So this is how you can use it daily. Simple structure. Say it out loud casually, not like a ritual. You can use present tense, keep it short and almost throw away, and smile when you say it. So you're not convincing yourself or the universe or whatever entity you want to say. You're training your self-image. You know, you don't want to do it if you just feel like you're forcing yourself. It only works when it feels natural, humorous, and light. You don't want to just force it. That's why when it comes to robotic affirming, if you don't feel comfortable with doing routines where you do morning, afternoon, and evening, then just don't. Find your own way. Affirm whenever you feel like affirming. When you're going for a walk, when you're doing the dishes, when you're cleaning, when you're cooking, when you're brushing your teeth, when you're having a shower, you can affirm. Or you can say all these things. You don't have to set yourself a routine. I like routines because it's quite interesting something about me is interesting. I'm a regimented person. I do like regimes and structure. And I believe that was probably because of the way I was raised. But I'm also a free spirit. But I find that when I lean too far to my free-spirited side, I find that I end up sort of just not getting things done. And so there has to be a happy medium for me, a balance. You don't want to feel like you're trying too hard. That's the reason why sometimes routines don't work. So you want to find your own lane, your own. I like to robotically affirm. I really enjoy it. I also like to write out my affirmations. I like to say my affirmations in the mirror. I like to listen to them using my Parrot app. I also like to type out my affirmations on my laptop because I find that to be fun. I like to listen to subliminals, and I like to listen to activations by creators like Brian Scott. These are my 3 creators that I love to listen to when it comes to like affirmation tapes and manifestation tapes. High Frequency Guru, I find that when I'm in a low mood, videos always lift up my mood, always. I always get back into the state when I listen to High Frequency Guru, but I don't listen to her every day. Every day, without fail, I listen to Brian Scott. If you haven't listened to Brian Scott and you're someone who really struggles with your nervous system, someone who struggles with a lot of resistance, listen to Brian Scott's activations. They're not meditations, really. You can actually kind of just sit around and listen to them. He does have meditations as well. He does have affirmation tapes as well. So he's kind of got a bit of a mix of everything. So I really like his channel. And third, I like to listen to Mary Kate. So those are the 3 YouTube channels that I really like listen to religiously. Frequency Guru, Brian Scott for activations. I recommend if you're manifesting money or you've been struggling with manifesting money, out of all of these channels, Brian Scott is the best, in my opinion. Especially if you struggle with resistance. Especially if you're someone who you don't do meditation, because he's got meditations on his channel, but he has these things called activation, but you can listen to them while you're doing anything. You don't really have to necessarily sit down, relax, and do all this deep breathing and stuff like that. You just listen. And it really does help to prime your subconscious mind. But yeah, this complaining method is really powerful. And it's really powerful for people that moan a lot. If you're a moany person who just always complains and moans and whines and whinges, trust me, you're going to love this way of doing things. I'm just going to reiterate what I said earlier on. For anyone who's just come in, I'm going to reiterate what I said about this method of using complaining to manifest. And so if you're a complainer, say for example, you complain about money all the time, you're always complaining. Instead of saying, oh, I'm struggling with money, or money's really hard to come by, or I don't have any money, you're going to say something like, oh, my goodness, there's so much money coming into my account. It's just annoying, or it's ridiculous. Just hear how that sounds. It's kind of playful. It's kind of like you're rolling your eyes about it, like, oh, so much money coming into my account. Like, what the heck? Like, money is just literally just rolling into my account all the time. It's kind of irritating. You know, it's playful, it's relaxed. You're not putting money on a pedestal. It's normal. You see money as being money coming into your account. It's normal. Large amounts of money coming into your account is being normal. And you're assuming abundance as a given and treating it as an inconvenience, which basically, it's interesting, you know. Do you know when you complain about something or someone constantly, that person seems to always be there, irritating you? And it's like the more you complain about that person, the more they seem to be there, annoying you. Or the more you complain about a specific situation or issue, the more it just kind of increases and gets worse. Think about in the morning waking up and like stubbing your toe and getting really annoyed, and then something else happens and another thing happens and you miss your train and all these different things happen and you just keep complaining. By the time you realise that your day has ended and you've had a terrible day. But if you were to sort of like reframe that, most likely your day would go much better. You stubbed your toe, yeah, that hurt. And then you could even be like, I'm always stubbing my toe, but you know what? Whenever I stub my toe, good things happen. And then you laugh it off and you go on, and then you're like, right, I'm gonna be early for the train today. And then you run to the train station, you get there, the train is not even arrived yet, and you've got 5 minutes to wait and you haven't missed your train. But often you'll find that when you stub your toe in the morning and you're rushing around and you're angry and you're irritated, you leave something behind, you have to go home, and then you miss your train, and all these things unfold because you've just focused so much on the negative thing. But whereas if you were to use this technique of complaining in the positive, it's kind of weird to say it, and you're saying, oh, so much money coming into my account all the time is kind of annoying. Trust me, that money will just keep coming. It will just keep coming and coming and coming, because it's like you're just seeing it as, oh, this is the norm. Just like if you were to complain about whatever it is you keep complaining about, something that's happening to you that's negative, the more you keep complaining, the more you see that in your reality, the same thing you're complaining about keeps coming back and back and back. It keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And so think about it. If you're to complain in the negative, to complain in the positive, imagine you're complaining about, oh, so much money coming into my account all the time. You're going to start seeing more money coming into your account because you're going to see it as normal. But the more you complain about the negative things, you become so comfortable with the negative things happening that they always keep showing up in your reality. But if you use the same complaining energy to complain about money constantly coming into your account, even if it's not happening yet, eventually you're just going to become a money magnet. It sounds strange, but trust me, it works. Because I'm someone who, I don't identify as being a complaining person anymore, but I used to identify as being someone who complains and moans a lot. And you find that the more you moan and complain, the more likely it is that these things are just going to keep happening to you. So if you use that same energy to complain about having more money, to complain about like being more healthy or whatever it is, you're going to see all these things in your 3D reality. Think about when you're in a relationship and all you do is moan about your partner, like not texting you on time and all these kind of things. You'll find that they will continue to do that because you're just moaning so much that you are putting so much emphasis and focus on that negative thing that it just grows. But if you were to just kind of fall back and kick back, you might say it once and then after that don't say it again. Eventually that person is just going to stop doing it. It doesn't happen all the time, but often it does. When you kind of just choose peace over complaining constantly, you're going to see things change or shift. And so, and it would also work with a relationship as well. If you're like, oh, it's so annoying how my partner just constantly keeps on buying me flowers and doing all these romantic stuff. It's so annoying. It sounds like a complaint, but you're complaining in the positive. It's just like overthinking. When you overthink in the negative, why don't you flip that overthinking into a positive version of it? So, for example, you might want to start creating content, but you're scared because you're thinking people are going to laugh. And so you're like, what if people laugh at me? What if no one watches my videos? What if I don't make any money? What if everything failed? But why don't you flip that and start saying, but what if many people watch my videos? What if I gain new clients from this? What if everything changes in my life because I've started my channel? Do you know what I mean? Just think about it like that. Like overthink in the positive instead of overthinking in the negative. It's the same thing with the complaining thing that I've just mentioned. Instead of complaining in the negative, complaining the positive, the opposite way. But it still sounds the same, but you're using different language. And trust and do believe things will start to shift in your 3D. Try it out. If you're a moany, complaining person who's always worrying and complaining and moaning and just whinging and whining, which can be very annoying for anybody around you, use a different way of talking. And imagine this, if you were to say it out loud, something like, why is so much money always coming into my account? Someone who knows you will think that you're just moaning about money in a negative way. They'll be like, oh, here we go again, she's moaning. And then when they really listen, they're like, actually, she never said that. She said it positively. And it'll be shocking to most people that you didn't complain in negative about money again. So try it out. And if you're someone who is trying to build a digital business, you're in the process of trying to build a digital business, you haven't seen any results, join my 33 Digital Abundance Challenge. I have a link in the description for it. And I have a link in the bio for it as well, because this challenge is really amazing for anyone who wants to build digital abundance, essentially build a digital business, a high-level digital business, but you need help with your mindset, and you need help with consistency, and you need help in regulating your nervous system in order to build a successful high-level digital business that can be sustainable and long-lasting. I'm going to leave this stream here. Doing 30 days of robotic affirming at the moment. And so while I'm doing this 30 days of robotic affirming, I'm going to be doing 30 days of streams. Today's day 3, tomorrow's day 4, and tomorrow likely I'm going to do a robotic affirming saturation session tomorrow in the stream. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you take on some of the advice that I've given you in this in this stream, because trust me, it works. You will see so many changes in your life if you take this on. Take care.